Mick O'Sullivan, and I want to talk to you today about our new international truck, the LT. Now this is not a rewarm Pro Star. This is a truck with a whole new look, a whole new attitude. And I want to talk to you today about some of those unique changes to our product. Now, as you come to the back of this truck, you've got your standard air fairing here. One of the big changes they made was this fairing on the bottom. As you see, it's very easy to move. It's not stiff like this. This is how it used to be. This is how it is today. That's about aerodynamic improvements. The other part that they did was, as you see, the fairing is nice and clean. They took a lot of the styrations out of it. You come here to this point here, this is one of the coolest things that they did. Your entry and egress is a 3-point deal. They actually made this come out a little further, and they compensated with aerodynamics by this little piece here. So you have the easiest truck in the industry to get in and out of. So you have 3 points. 1, 2, and 3. Very nice. Now, if you need to remove this to get at your batteries, you have an access panel here. Okay. But if you actually need to service them, it's going to come off in 4 bolts. Very easy to take off, which is wonderful for the maintainer of this truck. Another big change that they did was they switched to pedestal mirror. Now, pedestal mirror obviously is a mirror like this, and it comes out and it's in a different area. When you sit inside this truck, it used to be that it blocked your field of vision here. Here, it doesn't block it, which to me is real cool. The other thing they did here was they obviously made this big enough for a guy with a gloved hand to use. As a nice touch. Listen to that fit and finish. We don't talk about fit and finish in trucks, but in this truck we will, because they did a nice job of getting all your tolerances very close. This door, compared to our old product, is 2 times better, built 2 times stronger. It also closes up at the top. Our previous product offering sometimes left the driver thinking he was in a wind tunnel inside our truck. This truck's not going to do that because of how it's all put together. Another nice little feature. In your car, when you put your key in your ignition, if you do in your door, it's just a little turn. Left, right, open, lock. The old truck, you would turn it halfway this way, halfway that way. And at some point, you could have pulled the complete tumbler out on your key. That's a minor change, but boy, oh boy, let me tell you, I don't know how many customers come and say, Mick, I got the tumbler on my key, what do I do? I says, put it back in and turn it and you'll be good. And that was all it was. So as you come up here, you'll notice our hood. Our hood and fenders have been changed significantly. And that was through some very, very impressive wind tunnel testing that they did at NASA. I'd like to see the bill for what they spent there. This hood actually comes up at a higher angle. And in testing, and this is pretty interesting, in testing they moved this fender a couple different ways. One of the things that they found out was the old fender put the air off. Well, they didn't want the air going up. They want the air going all the way down the side. So by lowering this fender, they achieved it, which is pretty impressive. As you come around the truck, mirrors here mounted in a different spot. They're mounted there because that's the best spot for the driver for all his vision. He has no blind spots. Another nice thing is that how this foot fits. These fender mirrors will not shake, rattle, and roll. The old truck, you couldn't even see what you were seeing. You didn't know what you're seeing because they moved so much. As you come around the front, you'll notice they put a standard grill screen behind here. They moved your fog lights from being up here to in here. Okay, aerodynamics, about aerodynamics. And you'll notice they also got a screen here, screen here, screen here, screen here. So they're trying to keep all those debris from getting in your truck. These can be LED, okay? You can still order the old stupid ones, but I think LED is the way it's going to be because they're a better product. The other thing is here is we went to LED headlights. Just like the automobiles, we got the light that comes around the side. And I think one of the neat features is this is how strong. That's a strong piece. You're not going to go anyplace with that. But take a minute, I want to show you some engine things. See how easy that hood is to lift? I think my wife could do that. She can't open a can of beans, but she could open this hood. So you come around here, so in the morning, your driver, when he does his pre-trip, he'll be able to see all his things he needs to look at because they're all clear, which is important. The guy that has to work on this, your mechanic, the guy that's going to maintain it, he'll notice that this engine sits further out. So it's got better weight distribution, but it's easier to work on. As you come around the other side, you'll see the same thing here. Your antifreeze, your squirters, easy to get at. And here's a neat feature. 2 caps, squirters and your engine oil, are tethered. Now, why is that important? How many times a mechanic or a guy on the road takes this off, sets it down, forgets about it, and he drives away and it's gone. It's tethered. 2 caps, this and your oil fill. Pretty important. Another neat feature is that our previous offering, you had an inner fender well that you had to take out. Now, your mechanic can get at a lot of pieces without taking out the inner fender well. I think that's a pretty important feature. I'll go ahead and close this one. Another thing I'd like to talk about, our front axle. Front axle is a wide track front axle. And the driver's feel is just like it's very automotive, an on-center feel. Now, an interesting point about our front axles being wide track, I get you a 50-degree wheel cut one way and 49 the other. Some of the other manufacturers might get you 50, but go in the opposite direction to get you 46, 44. So your wheel turning radius from wall to wall without anything on the back is about 31 inches. That's industry standard there. That's leading the industry. Let's come back around here. I want to talk about CB antennas. Okay, well, CB antennas. Studies have shown that if you take your CB antennas off of here and mount them behind the truck, you'll get like 30 seconds better fuel economy per gallon. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when the amount of fuel you guys buy in a year, that adds up a lot. And the coverage, the range behind the cab is better than the range going forward. That's a pretty big issue. As you come around here again, you'll notice nice clean look. This has an APU unit on it. You have your choice of engines. You've got a Cummins engine, anywhere from 400 horsepower all the way up to whatever you need. A26 is a new product for us. Excellent product. It's going to be a 13-liter, going to be a little bit lighter in weight. That's important to you. When you talk about overall weight, one of the neatest things they did on this truck versus the other truck is that before, our Cummins after-treatment system was 2 canisters. We went to a single canister that saved you a few hundred pounds. But the important part about that single canister is that the amount of ash that it will take before that has to be cleaned is about 600,000 miles worth. So for the average buyer of our truck, that goes to the second owner. So that's another way that International is saving you money and saving you uptime. You come back, one last thing I want to point out. All our frames are huck bolted. Now, huck bolting the frame, greater clamping power and less resistance for them to wobble off. It's not going to happen. One of the biggest changes in the back of the truck is International changed your airbag and your shock absorber. Used to be it was one piece. Airbag with a shock absorber going through the middle. So if you had a problem with the shock, you had a problem with the airbag, you had to buy both. It was a very expensive proposition. International changed that, so now you have an airbag and you have a shock absorber, which is pretty much industry standard. International saving you money, getting you better uptime. So let's take a minute and we'll go inside the truck. Hi, now we're on the inside of this most glorious truck. And I have to tell you that, like I told you before, nothing is really the same except for the seat back. Interesting that International just didn't rehash their truck or rewarm it. They totally changed everything going forward, with one of the biggest changes being the heating and air conditioning system. Now, heating and air conditioning, not a big deal, most guys say. International found that they can make some very significant changes to little things like how it defrosts. They did a study where they took the new truck with the new system brought it all into to their shop, brought competitors in, and found that our truck will defrost in under 30 minutes the entire windshield. Competition just got you pieces here, pieces there. That's a minor thing, but it's a big thing. The other thing is they went to automotive type switches here, automotive feel to what you want to do. That again is a nice feature. They took and brought drivers in. They brought drivers in because they wanted their opinions. Happy drivers are good drivers. So drivers told them all the things they wanted to change. So this is the most driver-centric truck in the business today. And what I mean by that is they looked at a lot of features. They looked at the ability for a driver to be sitting here and have the buttons he touched the most right here without leaning forward, so he could just reach out and touch them. I told you about the mirrors. If you look through here and through there, you'll see there's not that traditional blind spot. There's not an excuse for it because the mirrors are positioned in a great angle. The other thing they did by making this window larger and getting rid of the wing window, which getting rid of the wing window is about better fuel economy. You have a better view down. The other thing they found is that by lifting the hood up and bringing it in just a little bit, you actually have better visibility to see what's in front of you. That being said, the air conditioning system is much better than what it was before. The other thing they looked at was something maybe kind of minor, but it was important to the drivers. The buttons that were on the switch, they're on the dash, the switches are on the steering wheel. These are laser etched. They're not going to wear away. That's a nice feature to have in a truck. So when you get 200,000 miles on it, if a new driver gets in it, he doesn't know what all these buttons are. He doesn't have the memory to it. The old guy might, but the new guy doesn't. Today, 500, 600, 700, 800,000 miles, you're still going to be able to read these switches because they're laser etched. The other thing they did was they looked at the electrical system. Electrical system in this truck is all brand new. The wire looms are all brand new. It's J1939 plugs. That's the industry standard for plugs in a truck. They brought all that stuff that used to be on the cowl, they brought it inside the truck. Fuse panels inside the truck. Fuses are right underneath here. And this is a little flat little area that's designed so if a driver wants to write on it, he can write on it. If he puts his 44-ounce Big Gulp on there and he spills it, it has a little drip system and a drain. So it's not going to all just sit there and go down. It's going to go into the thing and go down behind it. Another nice feature they did was they brought your wing around here. And you see here, I put my phone in here. You got a nice little ledge here. So a driver can put his cigarettes, a pen, whatever he needs to. In this particular model, you have a little cubby hole here. It also has 2 additional USB ports along with 2 power sources. So if a driver has a GPS, this truck has GPS, but he has his own GPS, he can plug it in here. If he wants to power his wife's phone or his partner's phone, he can do that. 2 power sources gives him a lot of value to do a lot of things. Now again, this truck has the larger 5-inch color display screen. Now what's nice about that, right here is how you change things on it. So you can change and get virtual gauges on this if you order them. You can change your mile per hour and put it up in here if you want. And you can see it's just like in the automotive industry. You either go back this way or hit this way to go back to your screen. There are some things that don't change from this screen. One of them is going to be the number of miles you're driving and what gear that you have your gear selector in and what actual gear is going to be in. Those 3 things don't change. You also get your temperature on here, which gets you outside ambient temperature, which is important for those guys. Drive through the winter, they need to know when the roads are going to freeze. It's going to tell them that. So that's a very, very nice feature about how this truck is built, how it's set up. They also, drivers told them, which makes this a driver-centric truck, that they like to have these gauges up at the top. So you get oil pressure, you get your 2 airs, and you get your fuel. DEF is moved down here, and then oil temperature, PSI is right here. So those, they said, were the most important gauges. They want to be able to see those clearly through the steering wheel, and they can. That's how it's built. Again, that's international guys thinking about it. Now, I'm a big guy, no secret there. This truck has an Eaton Fuller automated transmission. When you get that transmission, you don't get that shift lever down here, the button's down here, so the driver doesn't have to look down. All he has to do is twist. just twist. And the same thing, well, let's put it back to neutral. Yep, there you go. My switch up there wasn't turned on all the way. You want to turn your exhaust brake on, just flip it through here, you'll change it through your exhaust brakes. Headlights bright, wipers on this side, all very nice features, very automotive. They did this test where they just had a machine that twisted this, and they got to over 1 million failures before it finally failed. That'll never happen in a truck, because a truck, it just doesn't happen. So in this particular unit, I took a minute, I hooked my phone up to it. Now the phone is kind of a nice feature. Everybody has a phone. Now with this, you'll be able to get your music right through your phone, right plugged in, so the driver can listen to what he wants to listen to. Doesn't have to do anything different there. Another nice feature, and this to me is a pretty good feature, is you have the ability of pairing your phone to this unit. So by doing that,
feature in your mailbox.
I'm calling myself, so you get my voicemail. But you can hear it from here. They move this speaker from up here to here. So as the driver is driving the car, the truck, I'm sorry, he's able to talk and keep his eyes on the road, which is very, very nice. If he wants to answer the phone, he can answer from here. If he wants to turn the volume up, he can turn the volume down.
It is permanently removed
or turn it up from here. Hang it up, no big deal.
When you exit your mailbox,
all works right through that system. That to me is one of the nicer features of this truck. That being said, one of the biggest changes that drivers told International that they wanted was they wanted to get the air horn off of the steering wheel, because in panic situations, studies also shown that having it here, they had to look down most of the time because they were in panic, they couldn't remember it, versus the old just grabbing and pulling on it. And that is one of those old features that old-time drivers love, new drivers love it, and you'll love it too in your new International. So I hope I've helped you. I hope I've brought you up to speed with all the changes. I know I probably missed 30 of them, but there's that many changes to this truck. So if you have a question, come see us. Come in and buy a new International truck. Thank you.